J. Robert Oppenheimer is a brilliant physicist who, with the help of some of the other great minds of the world, looked to create a new kind of weapon that will end World War II. The atomic bomb. This task is far from an easy one, and not just in regards to brain power. Because once they launch this weapon, it could very well change the course of the world. And do they really want that on their conscience? This is Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is the latest film from the iconic director Christopher Nolan, and is a film about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the man who helped create the atomic bomb. And yes, I was just as disappointed to find out that J. Robert Oppenheimer was not just the guy who battled Thanos in an epic rap battles of history. Although, that is a really good one. Jokes aside, how is Christopher Nolan's latest film? Oppenheimer may not be a traditionally entertaining film, who expected it to be, but it is a beyond captivating film about the horrors humanity is able to create.
SpeechModification.com presents How to Pronounce Cillian Murphy.
Well, good thing I looked that up quickly. Playing the titular role of J. Robert Oppenheimer is Cillian Murphy, who knocks it out of the frickin' park. Oppenheimer is a brilliant, sometimes cocky physicist who is also burdened and haunted by the horrors he has created. And he is phenomenal in every single scene he is in. In fact, he is in almost every single scene of this movie. This is top-tier movie performance, if you ask me. A performance that just has you captivated and hooked just on performance alone. And Cillian Murphy is far and away the only great performance in this film. The other huge standout performance to me was Robert Downey Jr. as Lewis Strauss. Robert Downey Jr. has to have a Best Supporting Actor Oscar on his way because of this film. Because, oh my god, is he so freaking good. I love Tony Stark as much as the next guy, but seeing Robert Downey Jr. in a role like this and kill it every step of the way is so much fun to me. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the other actors in this film, because there are a lot of big names in this one. From Matt Damon to Emily Blunt to Florence Pugh to Josh Peck. Good for him. But all the actors in this film are phenomenal. This is the type of film where you're simply entertained by the fact that you're watching these amazing actors and actresses give these amazing performances. Amazing cast all the way around, no doubt about it. This is one of those really unique historical films that I am personally a big fan of. One that mainly focuses on one person within this big historical event. You may know everything there is to know about a historical event, but you may not know everything there is to know about a person within said event. And this film does that so well. As I mentioned, Oppenheimer is in almost every scene of this film, and it's his movie, obviously. His name is in the title. And I just think that makes for such a more compelling story at times. You get to see the person and how their life is affected by this big event, and I think that is just so neat. If you want another good example of a movie that focuses on a person within a big historical event, check out Damien Chazelle's First Man. It was the movie Damien Chazelle made before he cracked his head open and made Babylon, but this one's good. Now, Christopher Nolan films always have a unique feel to them in regards to other big blockbusters. Action films like Inception and Tenet just don't hit the same way other action films might, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'd call them something like gritty spectacles, and I think that's perfect for Christopher Nolan. This film, however, really leans into the whole dramatic historical biopic, even more than Dunkirk did. And again, I think it's done phenomenally story-wise, but at the same time, I think maybe, just maybe, Christopher Nolan could have gone without the IMAX camera this time. I just don't feel the film needed it for its entire 3-hour runtime. The film still looks great, and the sound design is immaculate, but it definitely has moments where you're like, why is this filmed in an IMAX camera? Maybe it's because I didn't have the privilege to go see it in IMAX, so maybe that's part of it, but It definitely feels like this was a bit overkill, but it all worked out in the end. It's still a really good movie. But amongst all of Christopher Nolan's films, it's not the one I think I'd go to quickly to rewatch for pure entertainment value, if that makes any sense. Again, watching those actors just act the hell out of every scene they're in was so cool. That was acting. That was some good shit. But if it was between this or The Dark Knight, I'm gonna have to pick The Dark Knight just because it's just a more entertaining film. But I don't want that to discourage anyone. This film is still phenomenally made. From the amazing performances to the beyond captivating story, you will not feel the 3-hour runtime on this film. I can guarantee it. I hardly did. It is without a doubt one of Christopher Nolan's best movies. And if you're a big historical buff, you have got to check this one out. I hope you all enjoyed this review, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Oh, and by the way, check out the website. Until next time, I'm Quentin Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.